Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang this evening. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai. We continue our exploration of the Ashtavakra Gita. We're still on chapter 1. So in 2 weeks we might finish a chapter and a half. Let's see. So this chapter is instruction on self-realization. Master, should we start from the beginning? You know these verses well by now. Can I do a pop quiz? So Janaka had asked, how is knowledge to be achieved? What is the knowledge he's talking about? You know, do we know the knowledge? Then he said, knowledge to be achieved, detachment acquired, liberation attained. So how many of us feel like we have the gist of this, we have the essence of this is clear to us? On Zoom, actually, there's a raise hand option. Can you try that? Do you see that button? Can you press? The sense of the first verse, which is, what is liberation? Knowledge, detachment, liberation. Okay, I don't see any hands. Who wants to share a little bit about this verse? Nitya, thumbs up. You want to share? Anyone here wants to share? Come. Read the verse and just explain what you feel it is. Take your time.
This one, right?
Right. You can read it out loud.
So, Master, how is knowledge to be achieved, detachment acquired, liberation attained? So, the sense here is Janaka intellectually knows what that knowledge is. If you know that knowledge, then that knowing itself helps you be detached from all the attachments, which essentially means you get liberated.
So, Janaka already intellectually knows. So, what is the knowledge that he's asking for now?
Is how to really be in that. What is that knowing? The answer.
Yeah.
The answer is it can only be known as an object. It's you only can be there.
So, you cannot know it objectively.
Objective.
and you already had some ideas intellectually. So, is there something which is deeper than this? Objective, intellectual? Can I feel it? Can I feel the self?
If you can feel it, then the question is, what is it that is feeling? You keep
So, it's even beyond that, you say?
even beyond.
Yeah. Then the next part, detachment acquired. What is this detachment?
So when you're in that knowing, you get detached of what you, you are attached to.
Hmm.
You are attached to a phenomenon, that is things that are moving, coming and going. So once you're in that knowing, you get detached. So you don't attach yourself. You don't identify.
The last part, liberation attained.
So once you do that, you discover that you are free.
Let's see the next verse. See. To be to be free. To be free, shun the experiences of the senses, like poison. Turn your attention to forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, simplicity, and truth. Who wants to share a little bit about this? Anybody? Say something.
So Janaka asked the question to the master, how is knowledge to be achieved? Detachment acquired and liberation attained. And to come to these questions itself shows some readiness of Janaka. So Ashtavakra directly just gets to the point saying, to be free, shun the experiences of the senses like poison. Turn your attention to forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, simplicity, and truth. In this verse, he is still talking about the phenomenal doing that one needs to do to come to recognize that self already is. Here he is trying to tell Janaka that somehow guide his attention that attention. So when he says turn your attention to, so basically he's telling him all these phenomenal experiences. So shunning it like poison is very strong word, but it's more like taking the attention from the outward, from the all phenomenal to bringing it more inward, and all these forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, they will become fragrance. They are the fragrance of as soon as he turns his attention from the outward to inward. So that's what he's guiding him. To be free, you have to turn your attention from outward. And though he's saying that you're turning your attention to these qualities, but it's more like he's saying these are going to be the fragrances as soon as you turn your attention.
You are not earth, water, fire, or air, nor are you empty space. Liberation is to know yourself as awareness alone, the witness of these. Somebody wants to have a go online. Ishwari, want to come, my dear? Mic's working.
Do you want me to read it over again?
If you like, yes.
Oh, okay. You are not earth, water, fire, or air, nor are you empty space. Liberation is to know yourself as awareness alone, the witness of these. You know, it's the more that I sit with this, the less I know. I especially the past couple of days, it's been very tough here. But then I read this and it seems like so easy, you know, just I'm none of these, so what does anything matter? But stuff still comes and stuff still goes. But when I just don't know. I got nothing. Honestly. I just it's so funny because you know you're in Satsang for so long, and you know you have the experiences and the big K, the big knowing. The stuff still comes.
Yes.
All this, the tattvas, it still comes. And yes, maybe today it's easier to deal with and realize that I'm not that. But when it comes, it seems it comes so much stronger now. It doesn't last as long, but it's like a tidal wave, and it's just devastating, it seems, until it's not. But when I read something like this, it makes it seem so simple, and then I get upset with myself because it is so simple. But yet stuff still comes and goes. Yeah, that's it.
I enjoyed hearing this. I enjoyed hearing very much. So
Glad you enjoyed it.
this is exactly what the whole play of the human condition is in some ways. Especially the play of the spiritual seeker is very much like this, where when we come to Satsang, we come to the presence of a great scripture like the Ashtavakra Gita, and it seems so obvious. She said these are the five tattvas, the five elements. They're just coming and going. What she implies in that also is that I remain, I am not coming and going. But when it comes, it can seem like it gets me. When it comes, it really seems like it gets me. And then when I look at something like this, it seems so obvious again that none of this truly gets me in any real way. It gets me, it gets this play, this aspect of me, still gives me the whole existence in my identity. So that is why, if it was snap, if it was just, if all that was needed was read the Ashtavakra Gita once or one or two verses like this, you see, then we would not need satsang every day, would we? Because the power of conditioning, the power of identity can seem like it has its own momentum, you see. It has been built up. One example I share is that suppose you looked at a photo of Papaji and you always thought that that is Nisargadatta Maharaj. Suppose you always thought that is Nisargadatta Maharaj. And somebody comes and says, no, not Maharaj, this is Papaji. No, this is not Papa. And then you have that, satsang interaction for a bit, and then you recognize, yes, it is Papaji. But next time when you see it, again, the concept will come that this is Maharaj. Because for a long time you've picked up the condition that it is somebody else, it is something else. In the same way, because in this play, we picked up seemingly for a long time that we are something that is truly affected by the conditioning. by the coming and going of the phenomenal realm. Therefore, it can seem to take time to. But the fact is that every time, we have to do the work of picking up the false identity about I. Although it can seem very natural, you see, just like for a smoker, it can seem very natural to pick up a cigarette and light it. It can seem actually more relaxing that way, more effortless that way. You see, so that is what is being pointed to. That because it has become a habit for us to pick up the identity, therefore it can seem like it just. Many will report that it just happens when this comes. You see, and to them I say, okay, it just happens. It's fine, but at least now, what is it that you are? And during satsang, even during satsang, just once, if you can come to this recognition, just like this, you say, when I read a verse like this, it's so clear, I'm not this. That much is good prasad for one satsang. That one moment, you see, that one moment. Because that one little bit of insight, that one moment is cleaning up the false idea. What are we, in the play, what are we moving towards? We're moving towards that place where when these things come, events happen, the interpretation of those comes, then mostly we are just able to let them come and go. You see? Mostly we are just able to let them come and go, if not just laugh at them or something like that. You see? So how does it come to that point? For somebody who's over their addiction, when the thought comes and says, would you like a cigarette? You say, no, why would I want to spoil my lungs? You see, why would I want to do that? In the same way as the mind comes with its offers, you see, the same offer which seems so compelling because of the habit, you see, that has been built up over, I don't know how many million lifetimes. You don't even have to get into those things. You see? So, yeah, so don't bother with how long it has been you picked up this habit. It's just that we can be grateful that at least now we've come to this place where we're looking at this habit. You see, we have some distance from it. And I know that those moments, those times where it does get picked up, it can seem more intense because our sensitivity is increasing. You see? Our, our, for somebody who is not, again, I don't know why I'm using this example, presuming for somebody who is not smoked for a long time, suddenly to have a whiff, what do you call it? Have a drag from the cigarette would feel very painful, I'm sure. You see? So that because our sensitivity is increasing, then when we pick up identification again, it can seem more painful. It can seem like it's stronger. Sometimes what happens is in the design of the play itself, to make sure that we don't pick up any complacency or arrogance, it can seem like my whole life is turning upside down. Events seem to become stronger. The interpretation of those events seem to get stronger. Many times we come into satsang expecting our worldly life to improve in some way. But many times we come and we are just squeezed. Everything that we believed about ourselves is getting squeezed out of us. You see? But as we continue with this rehab, as we continue with this satsang, we will come to a point where, whether we believe it right now or not, we will come to a point of pure gratitude for all of these events, even that which squeezed us the most. So, he's very right. When we read Ashtavakra, when we come to Satsang, we see actually not even these. In a moment we can see the greater aspect of me is that which is the witness of this entire movement. Most of us in Satsang can see this very simply. And yet, for many of us, as we get back into day-to-day life, it can seem like, oh, these things still, it gets us. You see? So the problem is not so much that it comes and it goes. The problem is not so much that it comes and it goes. The problem that when it comes, it seems to have a hold over us. It seems to mean something for us. It seems to affect us or hurt us in some way. So as again and again we are clarifying every day, what is this I? Who am I? When you see that the one that is affected actually doesn't exist. It's just a set of sensations, a set of emotions, a set of judgments, a set of interpretations which are playing out within my being. So this is the whole point of Ashtavakra. Otherwise, Ashtavakra also would have just said one verse and finished. That's why there are so many pages. So, although the recognition is instantaneous, it is the momentum of conditioning which is getting replaced. Just a little more, I want to speak about it. Put on some light. It's a bit dark. Which is that two, three things that come up about this condition. One is that because it has been built up over a long period of time, it can seem like it takes a long time to grow. And that's why we need to repeat these things. We need to look again and again at what we are. Second thing is that because it is like this does not mean that we make a plan about how to get rid of it. It only means that in the right now, what are you believing yourself to be? It's all about the right now. Because actually, right now, you are empty of all condition. Right now, you are empty of all condition. And this can also sound contrary to what I'm saying, but it's not. I'll elaborate on this. You're empty of all conditioning right now. But the instant we pick up a condition about ourselves, it can seem like we're not just picking up that condition, but it can seem like I'm picking up my entire basket of conditioning. So it plays like this. The mind's game is like this. It is not that when you pick up just this condition right now, I want a chocolate cake. It is not just the I want a chocolate cake condition that gets picked up. It's not that I am just I am, and my only condition is that I want chocolate cake. I am that which wants chocolate cake. It's not that, is it? When I pick up the idea that I want chocolate cake, the whole idea of this individual I is picked up. And this individual I already has the sense of separation. It already has a sense of all the previous desire, all the previous grievances, all the opposites of forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, truth. All of that is part of the condition of this I. So there is good news and there is bad news. The good news is much greater than the bad news. The good news is that in this moment we start the moment empty of all condition. It is the best news actually. And this is true. It is true till you start to think about it. You remain empty till you start to think about it. In spite of whatever the sensations might be, we remain empty of condition. But it can seem like one condition. Why does this one say like this? Or why is this one like this? Why can't he or she listen to Father properly in Satsang? Some condition like that. And the whole separate identity, the whole idea I have about myself seems to come back. You see. So that is the play of the good news and the bad news. But why I say it's the best news? That in this moment again, it's empty, finished. It's like the de-addiction has already happened. But the thoughts of the temptation keep coming back to us. And this feeling, this idea that consciousness itself has that if I pick this up, it could have some meaning for me. It is relevant, it is true for me. So that's why these terms like, I shared a lot when we looked at these the first time. If you look at a term like forgiveness, it can seem like a very normal thing. Everybody says forgive, forgive. But actually there is something very deep in that. Because as we discover what we are, we find this one, this being, which actually cannot have a grievance. It sees everything happening within itself. All is a movement of its own light. You see? Or your recognition could be that not even this I am. I am that which is the witness even of being, completely unconcerned, untouched by any of this. So how can I have a grievance against my own aspect, which might be playing out as some relationship or as something else? So forgiveness is this kind of free passage. I read somewhere very beautiful definition of forgiveness is to give thoughts or conditions or grievances about that one free passage. They come and they go. So they're not about me. No grievance is truly about you. So that's why Bhagavan said very beautifully, actually, he was talking about some Kundalini awakening or something with someone. And he said, why bother with all this? I have given you the self-inquiry, which takes care of everything that you have to experience on your spiritual path. So if Kundalini has to happen, it'll happen. If forgiveness has to come, it'll come. If lust has to go, it will go. If hunger has to, if greed has to reduce, it will reduce. You see, all of this. Just by self-inquiry, just by this recognition of who I truly am. The only way that consciousness is designed to make itself feel like it is suffering is through this identification with thoughts. So now what can happen is, as we see that we are empty now, the mind has a trump card. The mind's trump card is what? Yes, you are empty now, you're with Ananta, you're reading Ashtavakra, you see, the Guru's presence is with you, you're empty now, fine. But what about yesterday when you got so angry with your mother-in-law or something? So, so in that moment, what happens to the emptiness? You see, we picked up a condition which was but what happened yesterday, as if there was an individual I yesterday which continues here today. You see? So that's how it works. So what happens is that's why I say that okay, it's fine. At least in satsang, at least in the inquiry, for a few moments, can we remain empty of even these conditions about what happened yesterday or how is it going to happen after this? Is it? Otherwise, many times it can happen that we are in satsang, but we're still thinking about past and we're still hoping that something will improve about the future. Whereas all that I am saying is, what about now? What about this here and now? So I used to say very often that my arch nemesis is the checker guy. The checker guy, you heard of it when you heard of this checker guy who's making this report card, you see, about yourself. He's keeping track. Today, so many enlightenment points. You see, so many stars, 5-star enlightenment. Today is 3 demerits, 3 black dots because you got angry. You see, or something like that. So this checker guy, this one who's making the report card, you see, constantly, is the one because I say to this one, uh, please do the self-inquiry or just look at what is now. Father, right now I'm 90% looking at what is now and 10% looking at what is past. You see, any instruction that you give it, it'll make it into a checking, it'll make it into a benchmarking. You see? And this is truly the bane of the spiritual seeker. Because the spiritual seeker feels like by doing X, Y, Z, coming to a particular level, I will come here. And it feels like the way we did in high school, the way we did in college, it feels like I will do it that way, which is that, okay, yesterday I knew half of World War II, how it started, now today I will learn the rest. Is it like that? I will make progress on my previous insights. Here, I say, okay, you know, most pristine previous insights, awakening experience can become a part of your spiritual ego. So remain empty of that. You are complete right here, right now. The checker guy has whatever it is saying is meaningless about the reality which you're tasting about yourself now. And it has just a few tricks up its sleeve. The most important one is yes, this is fine now. But yesterday, this happened. Or it's good. I hope this doesn't go after satsang. And again, we move away from this and we create a limited identity about ourselves and we want to cater to that one. You forget about that one is better. You leave that one to me. The one that needs spiritual progress, the one that wants to be a certain way, you leave that one to me. All you have to do is follow what I'm saying in this moment. If you're in satsang, if you're open to the words of satsang, all inquiry, all surrender is happening. Nothing you have to do. So in satsang, nothing to do. And outside satsang, everything my problem. That's the simplest way to live. Then if the but comes, but what about this? What about this? Take it up with my father. It's his problem. He has told me. The mind will come. I'm just sharing some of the tricks so that we can see them, we notice them, and then we don't fall for them that easily. The mind will come. It will say, yes. Father was talking about spirituality. He was not talking about the real world. He can't take care of my life in that way. He can't pay for the bills. He can't, take care of taking my children from here to there or something like that. It's not that. There is no real world and satsang world. It's another very powerful trick of the mind. It says, yes, in satsang it's different, but when I go to the real world or my day-to-day life, then something changes. Nothing changes. In reality, nothing changes. It's just that a little bit of the energetic support which you get by being in the presence of satsang can seem to not be there in those times. But actually, the reality of you remains unchanged. So the words of satsang, the surrender, the letting it be, is applicable whether you're in satsang or whether you're interacting with a grocer or a butcher. It doesn't really matter. That's the best part of having a guru. The best part of having a guru is that everything is his problem. If we have a guru and we continue to make things our problem, then it's like you bought the best car for yourself, or you inherited the best car, or it was given to you, and still you're huffing and puffing every day to work, walking or running to work. What is a better example? Bhagwan had a better example. He said to get into the train and to keep running, thinking that I will get to my destination faster. You see, it's folly. So having a guru is to get on the guru train. There's nothing for you to do, really. And what do I mean by this? Especially don't check on your spiritual progress. It's not your problem anymore. Then it makes it very, very easy. Somebody says something. Is it okay to ask, make a statement? Is it okay to make a statement? Yes. Come, Ajay, you have to unmute your mic.
Hi, good morning.
I can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me? Good morning. It's nice to
Good
talk to you.
morning. Same.
I hesitated a bit because I feel like a lot of times I want to be seen and heard, so I
Yes.
try to not be seen and heard. Um, you say give it to the guru, right? I know a lot of people that follow Satsang, and I watched Muji so much before I discovered you a couple of weeks ago, and probably around 2013, I was folding clothes, and that's when I guess I did my deep inquiry, and I had my experience, my enlightened experience, where I felt light, and everything that everybody described before, and nothing was there, and I had that nothingness in that space. And I know that when I did have that experience, that's when I totally let go of everything. Even Jesus, God, I just let everything go, right? And when you say give it to the guru, it scares me a little bit, I guess, because I've always been conditioned to just turn to Jesus, you know? So when it's give it to the guru, it's like, am I idolizing Muji? Am I idolizing him? Am I going to burn in hell? But I know when I had that experience, it was right. And I know y'all words are so true, but it's that I'm scared to dive deep and stay, you know, give it to the guru.
The last part again. I'm
scared to dive deep and totally give it to the guru, right? But I kind of know that that's the way to do it, you know, and it's really just that simple, to just trust in your words. But it's scary because I'm like, what if trusting in his words going to end up causing me to burn in hell? I think like that. And I even heard something, somebody was talking to Maharaj on one of the audios I was listening to, and he said that. He said, I just trust my guru's words, and I just stuck with it, and I just trusted my guru. It's a big part of me that just want to just trust you guys, and it's a big love, but it's just that small part that's just like, I can hear my grandma talking to me like, boy, you gonna burn in hell.
I can hear her. As you say that, I hear it.
So that's that. We're totally trusting the guru. There's a fear there. And then the simplicity thing. I wanted to say something when you was reading the second verse, because that's what's been on my heart lately.
You take this because I'll forget the.
It's breaking up.
Saying maybe we can.
I thought it was gonna cut out the feedback. Go ahead.
I was saying that maybe we pause on this point first, and we look at it, and then look at the second point, because my memory is so bad that by the time you finish the second one, I would have forgotten the first point. So let's look at this question. I love it very much because it's so sweet, it's so innocent, and it's shared with so much integrity. So I really appreciate this question. So turn to Jesus and give it to the guru actually means precisely the same thing. There is just no difference between these two, at least in the way I mean it. Because give it to the guru doesn't mean to give it to a physical embodiment of something. It means to, okay, let's look at this a bit more in detail. What is the physical embodiment of a master? The physical embodiment of the master is just that instrument which is totally being true to the light of its presence. That unassociated being. The presence is the godly presence. Being. I am. Consciousness. So Jesus deserves our full reverence because he was completely an instrument to this presence. Guruji deserves our full reverence because he is completely in service to the light of this presence. You see, the presence is the same. It is one being. I am. So the master's presence, when we say we give it to the guru, is not to give it to the physical embodiment, this person sitting in front, this body sitting in front. It's just like any other body. You see? So it is not the body, but what it embodies, what it represents. Why is it needed that we have? Why do I always say that the presence of a living master is one of the greatest gifts we can get? It is just so that because we are so used to identifying with name and form. So suppose I tell you, sorry, I'm not sure. Cad, is your name Cad?
Yes.
Cad. So suppose I say to you, Cad, I have this great friend, you see, and I feel like you will be best friends with this one, you see, but you can't see him or talk to him. Yeah. Then you'll say, but how do I create this friendship? How do I create this friendship, Ananta? What are you saying? I say, no, it's fine. You can't see him or talk to him. Just trust me, it is there. And that's your best friend. You see? Then you say, but it's so difficult to make this relationship like this. You see? If I say, okay, I found somebody that you'll get along with, even at a phenomenal level, you'll say, Ananta, can you send me their Facebook profile so I can see them? I can, add them on my Facebook page. Because our habit has become to be able to associate only with name and form initially. Before we go to the formulas, we need something that gets us in terms of form, in terms of name. So even in the paths which are not idealistic, like Hinduism, even in those paths which are not idealistic, when we go to church, we find a statue of Jesus. We find Jesus on the cross, or at least we find a symbol like the cross. Is it? Even for the Muslims, we will find verses from the Quran or a photo of Makkah or Medina. Why? Because although God is formless, there are, for us, because our habit has become to relate to form, we need some sort of form to be able to relate. If your grandma told you that turn to Jesus, but you have no visual representation of Jesus. You see, you've never seen a picture, you've never seen a movie, you never went to church, never saw him on the cross, nothing. You see, then you'll find it very difficult. How do I turn to Jesus, Ma? It's just, you see, I don't know what that is. You see? So in that way, so the living master, the body of the living master, is the purest embodiment of this presence. That's why when even Guruji says, he says it is the same thing. Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Shiva being. You see, all these are different terminology, different ways of representation based on what appeals to you, but pointing to the same thing. So that's why I said that turning to Jesus and giving it to the Guru actually means exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter what you refer to it as, it is what it points to. And Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi was leaving his body. His disciples, his devotees said to him, Bhagavan, please don't go. What are we going to do without you? And he said, where would I be? Where would I go? I am always here. The body went. The representation went in that way. But he is still there. The presence that is being pointed to is your own divine presence, is your own holy presence. So when we are turning towards God, when we are turning towards Jesus or Guruji, it is this inward movement, moving away from the false identity into our holy presence, into our divine presence. Now, whether we call it Holy Spirit, we call it God, we call it Jesus, we call it Shiva, we call it Krishna, we call it Guruji, it doesn't really matter. And that's why I enjoy also. I love all the religions of the world. I love very much, and but I enjoy also Hinduism very much because here, based on your temperament, if you're naughty, you have a god, you can go to Krishna. You see? Like, because he's the most naughty god that you will encounter. If you feel you enjoy righteousness and doing the right thing, you see? Then you have the form of Ram, like this. So that is why many actually in the West get confused about Hinduism, where we say God is formless, there is one God which is formless. Then why do we have all these? I had a friend who once told me, "How can you pray to someone who used to steal butter?" Krishna is known to, as a child, is known to run around and steal everyone's butter. So, while at the same time you say God is formless and all of these things. So I explained to him that all of this is the representation that we use to come closer to our own formless presence, to our own formless reality. So it's a democratic system based on what attributes you enjoy, what temperament you enjoy. We have so many millions of representations, you can pick one. You see? Now, Jesus, of course, one of the most beautiful representations of this godly presence, because so full of love, so full of pure knowledge, and yet so loving, willing to sacrifice himself for this, the sins of all humanity. Such a beautiful representation. In fact, when I met Guruji first time, I felt like I'm meeting one of these sages from the past, like Ashtavakra or Dattatreya, with the love of Jesus. And I even told him this. I want to share something with you. It's not enough to share. Actually, what happened is when I took Garuna there the first time, my wife there the first time, we sat in Satsang. And there was not so much inclination to hear the words of Satsang. And she was, our two kids were very small then. So she was getting irritated because people were giving her the look, saying, can't you keep your kids quiet and so on, something like that. So she got irritated and she left the Satsang hall. And she went and waited downstairs. So in those days, Satsang was very rare for me. So I said, no, come what may, I'm staying in Satsang. But I knew I'll have big trouble when I go back down. I knew I'd have big trouble. So what happened is then Satsang got over. Guruji came down. All the people started coming down after him. I was on the top of the stairs. He was at the bottom of the stairs. And he had sat down by them. And this old watchman came to him who had not maybe bathed for months. And his dress was all dirty and tired. And Guruji was loving him like a baby, as if he's his own baby. He was loving him like that. And then I saw my wife was sitting in the corner over there, and she was crying, seeing this. And she was so touched by this being who could have so much love for someone who physically could seem so repulsive almost. So that in this way, Guruji then broke that barrier of Advaita sounding satsang with her. And ever since that day, she's loved him more than anything. So this love of Jesus I've only tasted in a living form, in the form of Guruji. The reminding me of Jesus actually reminded me of also this. So you don't have to worry. It's not a conflict at all. Whether you call him Guruji, whether you call him Mujiji, whether you call him Jesus, whether you call him Ramana, whether you call him Ashtavakra, call him whatever you want. It's all pointing to the same thing. Just as all rivers go to the same ocean. We also call our oceans differently, but actually one one body of water, isn't it? So if grandma doesn't understand this, it's completely fine. You tell her I'm praying to Jesus. It's completely it's the same thing. Okay, you had a second part to your question. You can.
It's just that simple. That's what's been on my heart. Last couple of days, the simplicity. It's just that simple, And I guess for the mind, the tradition stuff is hard to believe that, but it's just that simple to live in grace, And it's just kind of hard to get that, I guess. But I know it could be true. It's a paradox. It's crazy. But I know it's just that simple. what else could you do but live in grace? I mean, and everything you felt about Moody, I feel the same way. That's what attracted me to him, and the experience versus somebody telling me, you know. So I trust you. I trust you. You're my guru. I give it to you.
So sweet. Thank you, my dear. Very, very beautiful. So much enjoyed having this interaction with you, and this trust, you see, this trust. It's very beautiful. It's very helpful. I don't make anything a prerequisite to come into satsang. Nothing is a prerequisite. But I do know that having a bit of this trust is really helpful. You see? Because what happens with a bit of this trust is you hear with some openness. Then when you hear with some openness, then you just follow a little bit, and it helps. Even in a phenomenal way, it helps. Something helps. Something becomes more spacious. Something becomes lighter. Something is seen more clearly. You see? And then that trust develops. You see? That trust develops, and that trust grows. And then along the way, you find, and I'm not talking just about this representation of Ananta. It could be with anyone, any true master. So as this trust develops, then along the way you find the presence of love is also there. This love also comes. And then for most of us, we truly discover devotion. Devotion is what? Just this trust mixed with this love. This devotion. And we taste this devotion after we are open to the words of the Master, we inquire along with him, or we surrender to his presence. And then love is bound to come as a fragrance of that. So this trust grows, love comes, and that is what we call devotion. It's very different from most worldly relationships. Because in worldly relationships, many times we could love someone a lot, we don't trust them. Or we could trust someone a lot and we don't love them. So that which is called devotion is that which is such a beautiful mix of this trust and this love. So that's what satsang is all about. And when we have this devotion, then it's so easy to say everything is my father's problem. Actually, my father here is so kind, even phenomenally. It's like he met me the first time, he just picked me up and he's not kept me down from his lap since then. Everything that's happened through here has happened on his lap. And it's the same Jesus, same Krishna, same Ram, same Guruji.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's also very beautiful to see how even the worldly play of these master-disciple relationships, how things can change, how they can evolve, they can mature. What's happening here is that for many years after I met Guruji first time, just felt like I can't speak anything in front of him. I just felt like, if you've seen some of my earlier photos with him, and even till the year before this one, you see this very timid child standing next to his father, sitting next to his father. It's only since the last few, maybe year and a half, that something has come here where I can share with him more. communicate with him. And I can see that the love is only growing from strength to strength because of this. So all this conditioning of timid son, all of this also gets cleaned up by his own grace. Who's going to sing for us? I haven't heard Amba sing in a long while. Is Ishan sleeping or is awake? Oh, there he is. Hello.
I can't sing really because the baby's making lots of noise.
So nice. Say hi to Ishan, everyone. Moving towards the camera. Yeah. Oh, she can't. You couldn't hear what I was saying. I was saying, when is he coming to Bangalore to see me? And then I said, this very young grandfather.
As soon as we can.
Come. He wants to
Huh?
come.
He
He wants to come. He wants to reach to Mom. Okay, who's going to sing? I'll just look at Divya and she's.
Sing together.
You want to sing together?
For the shy ones.
Huh?
For the shy ones.
For the?
Shy ones.
Show the shy ones. Huh?
For the shy ones.
Yeah.
Meets easier.
Yeah. What do you want to sing?
No. It's fun.
Shia, we haven't heard for a long time. Maybe she can sing.
I would love to, Father, but I actually don't have much voice. I'm been sick, so I wish I could. I would love to sing for you tonight, but I can't.
We can hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, my dear. Okay. You just have to endure my voice then. Okay. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Okay, we are going to do some Ram chanting. Whoever would like to stay is welcome to stay. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.